Hey! Hey everyone, Andrew here, bringing you another video review, and today we're going to be doing from the DC Direct JLA classified figure line, Batman. Take a look at this Batman right here. Now, I got this figure at my comic book store's 50% off sale, and when I went to do the 50% off sale, I basically wanted to get just trades to fill in all the missing gaps that I had in my comic book collection. That, for the most part, accomplished that. But I also wanted to get a few figures, mainly for the reason because, well, they would be cheap. I mean, I could basically get two figures for the price of one, because all the figures at my comic book store are $17.95, you know, for like DC Direct figures. So I basically get two for like 17 bucks. Might as well. If not for the fact that I need them, just for the fact that I want them. There's two figures in particular that I wanted to get. One of which I did not find because someone already got it before I got a chance to it. But the other one was the Batman figure. And this figure I probably wanted more than the other one, so I'm happy I got this. Especially seeing that I can't find a Public Enemies Batman figure, which this is a repaint of. But I'll go into that later. Let's actually talk about the figure itself. Now, the JLA Classified Batman figure is based off the art from the JLA Classified comic, which is art done by Ed McGuinness. As you can see, this is a very Ed McGuinness looking style. Now, for me personally, I tend to like more realistic art and detailed art than anything. Artists such as George Perez, Ed Benz, Jim Lee, stuff along those lines, those artists tend to be my favorite. However, I do appreciate all kinds of art, not just the realistic kind. Just the realistic tends to be my favorite. And out of the cartoony art, and, you know, Ed McGuinness, he's the best. You know, he's probably one of the best cartoony-ish artists out there for comics. Ed McGuinness is well known for his stuff on the Batman Superman comics that was out. He did some stuff there. He did stuff for, obviously, JLA. He worked a lot on Superman during the early 2000s, among various other stuff. But those are really some of his claims to fame, and he's really good when it comes down to cartoon-like art. Like I said, not everyone's going to be into cartoon art. I'm one of those people that like more realistic art, but it's hard not to like Ed McGuinness. He's really a great artist. So I really wanted to get a Batman figure to represent his art. And I wanted to get the Public Enemies Batman from the Batman Superman line. Why? Well, because I wanted the Batman Superman figure stand, but also because I prefer the black and gray suit to the blue and gray suit. But I couldn't find it, so I had to settle for this one, which isn't really settling, it's just more or less, hey, I get it for a different color, who cares? So take a look at this bad boy. As you can see, this is very much like Ed McGuinness' stylish art. You got the cartoonish-like look to it, you got the massive muscles, you also see some of the details that Ed McGuinness would do with the eyebrows, and also with the belt right here and how it's stylized. And, of course, Ed McGuinness is known for doing short capes on his characters, as you can see with Batman. Now, the cape is kind of one of those flimsy plastic, which is okay. It's actually reliable plastic. I've heard people complain about this kind of plastic, but, hey, it's reliable. It doesn't tear that much, so I'm cool with it. Articulation-wise, the arms can go up and around, as you can see. They can go out a bit, but they don't go in that far. That's about its range of motion when it goes in and out. The forearm can spin around, the elbows can bend, the head can do the exorcist, but you kind of have to force it to make it happen. So it's not like you're going to have Batman with his head spun all the way around. Legs can go up and bend at the knees, and that's about it for leg articulation, except for it can go back a bit, but it's really just back into its normal position. And that's about all for articulation. Again, it's a DC Direct figure, so you're not going to get overwhelming amount of articulation. Now, the figure comes with this JLA stand, which is very lackluster. It's just a circular black stand that has a JLA classified symbol on it. Again, nothing too impressive. I definitely would have liked the Public Enemies Batman stand more, but, you know, it's just a stand. Again, take a look at this figure right here, before we go into the good, the bad, and whether or not you should get it. The interesting thing to note about the JLA classified figures is that the heads tend to be very big. And I'm going to get into that when I actually talk about the good, the bad, and whether or not you should get it. It's an interesting point to look at for the figure. So let's actually talk about the good, the bad, and whether or not you should get it. Good. Well, first thing is it's for the most part, I want to say 85% accurate representation of Ed McGuinness's art, which is more than I can say for the Batman Hush figure. I mean, if you look at Jim Lee's art and you look at the Batman Hush art figure, it really only about like 50% of it may look Jim Lee. This at least pulls off Ed McGuinness's art for the most part, which is nice. In addition to that, the colors really work well for the figure. I may be a fan of the black and gray suit more than the blue and gray suit for Batman, but the colors just work well. It's painted on nicely. There's no detail problems. The figure is pretty loose while still keeping a bit of stiffness in there when it comes down to the joints, which is what I like. Articulation is less than to be desired. It's a DC Direct figure. My only problem with articulation is the fact that the arms can't go in any more than that. So it really lacks a lot of posability, but that's more for a bad section. And the figure really blends in well with any Batman collection. And also, if you can't find the Batman, Superman, Public Enemies Batman, this is a good substitute because it's basically the same figure, just a different color, blue instead of black, and a different stand. Let's talk about the bad, though. The first bad is articulation, like I said before, is a little less than to be desired. It could have had a little bit more articulation, or at least have the arms go down a bit more. I mean, that's a little... if you look at the head, what's interesting is the head looks bigger for the body than it should be. It actually makes this look like a midget Batman. I know, this sounds really bad, but it really does. It looks like a midget in a Batman suit. I honestly think the head could have been a little bit smaller for that reason. Also, this figure comes with no accessories whatsoever, which is kind of a downside because most Batman figures come with at least a batarang to at least give something to the figure, but there really wasn't anything to add to the figure accessory-wise, so that's a disadvantage too. And also, you know, the stand isn't really that impressive. It's like the history of the DC Universe figure stands. You got these great figures, and you give these crappy stands. It's really quite disappointing. I'm actually going to have to go to my comic store and get some stands, because they have like a box full of stands, all Batman and other stuff, and you can buy them for $1 per stand, so I might as well just do that. But really, I mean, that's a little disappointing. On the whole, whether or not you should get them, the figure definitely has its flaws. There is no doubt in that. However, it's a very attractive figure. It's more exotic than anything, if I could give it kind of a stature. I mean, it does a pretty good job representing Ed McGuinness's art. If you can look past the fact that it looks like a midget in Batman's clothing, I would actually still recommend this figure, especially if you're looking for the Public Enemies Batman like I am, and you can't find it. So, I mean, it's for the most part a pretty decent figure. Is this the first Batman figure I would go out and get? Probably not. If you're starting a Batman action figure collection, this would probably be later on your list. But I still would put it on my list nonetheless. So with that said, I'm going to end this review here. JLA Classified Batman. Hey, if you want it, go get it. You won't be disappointed. It's a decent figure. This is Andrew saying, peace out for now.